Just forget to share it.
Okay. I shared it.
All right. Do it live. I said, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. I said, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. We're gonna drink a fine whiskey and smoke a really fine cigar. It is time for happy hour. It is the Man Cave Happy Hour, whiskey, cigars, spirits, and the stories that go along with it. I'm Jamie Flanagan.
I'm Mrs. Vino, aka Kristen Carlson. And it's the Jamie and Kristen show tonight.
It is. It's our first date.
It's date night. It's date night, everyone. Sorry, Matt and August.
Yeah, that's it. So but we're gonna get into this in just a minute. The Loncaro. We got some skinny cans. We got some robust cans. We have all kinds of flavors to try out. Before we do that, I want to find out, you had a big wine dinner and it was sold out, standing room only. How did your wine dinner go?
It was great. It was a good time. It was at my favorite restaurant. I say that because I ran it for a while. Nico Valley in Plymouth.
Yeah.
The De Palma family has owned it for over a decade.
Wow.
And it's authentic Italian cuisine. It's intimate. And I love everyone there. The staff, the guys, the front of house, back of house, all the guests, all the regulars that are there. It was a blast. It was a good time. Everybody, he had great food. Ray, shout out to Ray, the GM there. You came up with some really awesome culinary ideas, and I really appreciated that. And the wines paired perfectly. Everybody was happy.
It's a precursor because you have a big trip to Spain planned. And we talked about that in a previous episode, so people can roll back and check that out. But if people are interested in more about the Spain trip, where do they go? What do they do?
They can just go to mrsvino.com.
Cool. There you go.
Yep.
I was so happy that dinner sold out for you. Sometimes you do those things in summertime vacations. People are like, oh, I don't want to be inside, but you sold the joint out. And that is awesome.
Yes, it was fun. It was a good time. Thank you, everyone who came out.
Yeah. And the other awesome thing is you got cool friends.
I do have some cool friends.
You have some amazingly cool friends, and you have some friends that came up with this and are promoting this as the Loncaro seltzers. Are they seltzers? Is that that's not the right thing, right?
No.
We're gonna bring in the experts. We got Kathleen and Sarah here, and they're gonna say, Jamie, what the heck are you talking about? But ladies, I'm kind of outnumbered here. Welcome to the Man Cave.
Oh, yay! It's the Femme Cave now.
It is. We've done it a few times and let the ladies take over. We like doing that. So how would you describe this drink?
So it's not a seltzer because it would be a cocktail because we use real distilled liquor as opposed to fermented malt.
All right, so canned cocktails, authentic long drink. So now I know there's a long drink out there, right? You see it around, and so this is that just the style of the canned cocktail,
Yes.
and that's why it's called a long drink.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's actually a fun misconception. Long drink is a category. It's not a name. It's an actual category that was created.
So someone else was just really too lazy to come up with anything besides just long drink.
Well, ours is actually pretty cool. Ours is the least lazy because Loncaro is how you say it in Finnish, but we changed the KE to CA to represent where we're from. So it's a little bit of home and it's a little bit of us here. So it's Loncaro. Pretty slick.
Yeah, no, that's really clever because I was telling Jamie before we got in here, I'm like, I can't wait for Sarah to get on and just tell us more about, the fact that this is a Finnish, because this is only something that comes from Finland, right? The long drink is Finnish exclusively to that culture.
Yes. There's actually
he's not waiting, by the way. And then I just want to
need to dive in.
There's a great way to describe it, and how I typically describe it is Mexico has the margarita. It's their national drink.
Cheers.
It's typically lime, whereas Finland has the long drink, and it's typically grapefruit. So you can equate it that way.
Okay.
Just like how Mexico has the lime margarita and people like to get crafty and fun, and they started making things like strawberry margarita, mango margarita. We too have taken the long drink with its, authentic grapefruit. We've kept it pure, but then we've started making our own, which is, I see you're drinking our passion fruit. We have tangerine. And then we made it even more our own with the Lumi, where we have dragon fruit, pineapple, and white peach.
Yeah, so I just tapped into. So I have had the original ones. What do you think of that one? Because this is your first
Are they
time
all?
having
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Are they all grapefruit based?
They are not. So what's very
Okay, so
fun
this
about this
passion
is
fruit?
the base is exactly what you're reading on the flavor,
Okay.
but they're all long drink base, whereas they are gin. They are a long drink. It's just we've gotten crafty with what fruit we use. Which fruit?
Okay.
What fruit? What fruit? Which fruit?
Yeah.
All right. Oh,
All
we got,
fruit.
we got someone else is jumping in here. Hang on, we'll bring him in.
To be
Oh,
analyzed
Oh, he's
spectroscopically.
making his
So we
appearance.
know
There
what
he
they're
is.
made of.
I've been
I
here
would
for
say
like,
that
I've been
there
here for
is
like 10 minutes.
there
Hey,
are
Yanni.
materials that some
Oh,
other
Jan, I think
civilization
you
has
have
created.
Yeah.
And they
There's
have atomic grade printing.
Yeah, we've got some. Yeah, I was just gonna say someone's gonna have to help him out because we've got reverb.
I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on there.
Sorry about that.
Yanni, there might be there's like a, when you go into the settings, there's like a echo cancellation. So make sure you have that checked, and then we'll try again. I bring you back in
Yeah, I
in
think
just a second.
Yeah.
So I'm susceptible to suggestions. So because you were saying grapefruit, and I'm like, okay, am I smelling grapefruit? I'm smelling fruit.
Yeah. You know what? You should. You know what? Try this. Try the original. Try
Can
the
I
traditional.
have you do it in order?
Yes.
I think so. You kind of went backward, but it's okay.
Ah,
I know you have had a lot of drinks in your day, so you'll be able to cleanse the palate quickly.
yeah.
But I would
I've
start
behaved
with
myself
citrus.
today.
This is our authentic, and our citrus is grapefruit. That is what all the long drinks have been made to be. So
Okay.
hopefully you like it. So we shall see. I don't want to say too much. These are secrets, but we use multiple grapefruits in this, so you'll get a lot of complexity.
So I have a question. Since these are
This smells different. Yes.
Yeah, that one is crushable. So I have a question about the grapefruit origin and it being in Finland. Because I'm a, horticulturist by nature, and last time I checked, grapefruit
Not
doesn't
native.
grow there.
Mhm.
So how did that come to fruition? Let's get into the history of that.
So here's a fun thing. For the Summer Olympics back in 1952, they knew they had to satisfy so many people coming in. And how do you satisfy not only a ton of people, but a ton of Finns? I don't know if you guys have ever drank with Finns, but it is a good time. And so they thought, what are we going to do? They mixed, why grapefruit? Nobody knows. They mixed grapefruit with gin and some soda. Or it was grapefruit soda. And they thought we could pour it on tap. We could serve a lot. It's only 5% ABV. We could satisfy everybody. They're not going to get sloshed. Here come the Summer Olympics. It's in Finland. Everybody got sloshed anyways. 5% ABV, a little bit more. But it stuck. And so, in fact, the government had the patent on this cocktail for a long time. So what's fun is when the patent expired, Janne comes into play, who was born in Finland. And he says, you know what? It's about time this drink comes to the States. We've been drinking it growing up. In Finland, it's not as closed off as here as 21. Everybody drinks a little bit.
Yeah.
And what's fun about that is it was before the RTD boom. So this was like way, way, way back when. Unfortunately, he had an awful accident diving in the ocean, hit his neck, broke his neck, and is now paralyzed. They call it paraplegic is how we know it, but now it's tetraplegic. And what's really a bummer is, it's not a bummer, actually. What's a bummer is that he's paralyzed, but the better part of that is he went on to create Next Step. It's a nonprofit gym for those with paralysis that we give profits back to. And what it does is, yes, it supports those with paralysis or those with, other disabilities that can actually go to a gym. So imagine you want to work out, but unfortunately you can't run or you can't lift. At Next Step, we will help you with trainers. Get your workouts in, rehab, have hope again, move again. And what's fun is we have
we're gonna try it again with Yanni here. We're gonna try to bring him back.
We're gonna try and bring Yanni.
Hey, welcome back.
Is it working now?
Yes.
There we go.
I've tried like 80 different ways.
Yeah. Welcome, Yanni. It's so nice to meet you. So Sarah was just on the heels of
Your
telling
story.
us your story, and then obviously on your packaging you have the next steps QR code. So I was sharing that, and we can still frame that later on for you guys to use. But so Sarah was just telling us about what next steps is and how it helps individuals with who suffer from paralysis injuries.
So Yanni, so doing the gym and creating the gym, it's helped you physically, but what has it done for you, spiritually, or mentally for you?
Yeah, I'd say, living with, I personally have a spinal cord injury, but living with paralysis, obviously it's as much of a mental challenge as it is a physical challenge. But having the opportunity to exercise and get healthy and recover from my injury, obviously, is very uplifting and helpful from a mental perspective. And it's because I've been able to have success in my recovery, that's given me the opportunity to, live a full life and travel and do, most of the things that I always wanted to dream of doing, I can still do now because I've been blessed with the opportunity to have access to the best rehab and the best trainers in the world. So it's every day going to a place where you just get inspired by people that are working so hard to help others is very motivating. And, it's led to this. It's led to, I had this dream of launching Loncaro back in 2006. I had a business plan ready to go to bring long drink to the United States. And that's when I broke my neck. So that kind of dream got shattered, but it led me to the opportunity to start Next Step and change people's lives in that way. And fortunately, a few years ago, this idea kind of reemerged and teamed up with some close friends and got to meet Sarah and Kathleen through that. And here we are.
Awesome.
So let's go. The next step, is it one location or is there a few locations?
We have 7 in the United States.
All right.
2 in the Ukraine and then 2 in New Zealand, soon to be 4 New Zealand. And our next center that we're working on another center in the Midwest, and then another center in Pittsburgh.
Wow.
All right. So do you have vending machines with Loncaro in the lobbies? I'm hoping.
They might show up in our fridge every now and then.
Yeah. All right. So tell me a little about now. Let me tell me about the cocktail itself. How did you? Because it's a traditional, it's a standard cocktail in Finland. What's your take on it? Is this the standard, or do you have your particular flair to this? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the I'd say it's the first the original long drink. I'd say it's the first ready to drink cocktail ever created. So it's like the OG canned cocktail. And how it all started was after college, I was bringing a bunch of friends back home to Finland every summer for midsummers. And all my friends from the US, all they drank while they were there was the original long drink. And at the time, we only had like Mike's Hard Lemonade and some really crappy wine coolers here in the US. And we didn't really have any really good canned cocktails. And I just saw an opportunity. And then obviously things changed and my life took a turn with Next Step. But I saw an opportunity back in 2019 with the explosion of these canned cocktails in the US. So just started speaking with some close friends, and we just kind of said I had at that time, Next Step was doing really well, and I felt like I could take some time to launch finally launch his business. So that's what we did. And
Yeah.
um,
That's awesome, Yanni.
you know,
Yeah. No, that's,
with Sarah's help and the help
yeah,
of my
Sarah's,
cousin, we came up with what I believe is the best version of the long drink. But obviously, it was, you know, based on um, other past formulas. But we came
yeah.
up with something even better.
Yeah, I think so too. Because, you know, coming from the beverage world, and, you know, when I had originally was introduced by Kathleen to Sarah last week, I was really interested in the formulation process. And, you know, just thank you for sharing your story, and especially about next steps. So my husband and I were big in the fitness community. And we'll talk offline, especially when you mentioned Midwest. I'm going to say Michigan is in your future, sir. But Sarah, talking to Sarah about the formulations, because obviously there's competitors on the market. We're not going to name names, but I've had the competition before, and it always had this weird, you know, bitter, odd aftertaste. So Sarah, I wanted you to kind of like talk about the sweetener, I guess, like, or is there any sweetener? Like, obviously, I just tapped into the Lumi. Did you try one of these lighter ones?
I'm on the pineapple. So that's the thing about the aftertaste. Like a lot of these canned and the skinny, a lot of the let's just call them the skinny can drinks.
Yeah. The low-cal ones.
Dad doesn't like them.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
You know, and you were like, well, these aren't you know, skinny cans. That's got to be the light one. I was like, so I was getting ready to not like this one. Out of the skinny can, I tried the pineapple. These are fresh. These the ones, the cocktail, the regular first 1.0. They're nice. They're nice cocktails. They're fresh. They're crisp. They're fresh. And so I was waiting for an aftertaste on this, and I'm not getting the aftertaste on the pineapple one.
Yeah, hang on. I have to. I've got like 4 drinks going.
So, all right. So, but as I interrupted, we were talking about the flavors in the secret sauce. Sarah, what can you tell us about the secret sauce and the flavors?
Well, the best part about Lumi is it's unsweetened, totally unsweetened. I think we can talk a little bit about education on the terms sugar versus sweetener. So a lot of people will say, you know, our drink has no sugar, which typically means they've added sweetener. Usually like either a natural sweetener or an artificial sweetener, more likely an artificial sweetener. Or they'll say no sugar added, which actually means there's already sugar in the base or sugar in the formula within itself, like maybe a juice or so. What we say is no sugar, no sweetener, because that's what it is. It is just completely unsweetened. We don't add anything. Our flavors themselves are so ripe and vivacious. The flavors are not they're not basic. They're not typical. They are ours. We meticulously crafted them. Some might say too much so, maybe a little too picky. But when we finished our product, I mean, Lumi took almost a year to formulate properly. And when we finished it, we were very proud because they are juicy, they're ripe, they're bright. And without needing any sugar or without needing any sweetener to innovate in an oversaturated market with something that nobody else has come out with yet. And I'll tell some people, it's a fun fact. If you read people's cans, if they say no sugar, flip to the composition statement that are required on every can. And you'll see, it'll say gin with soda water plus, you know, fake sugar this, fake sugar that, or, you know, with juice this, coloring that. One fun thing about Lumi is it's truly, truly so clean. Our TTB statement is gin with carbonation. That's how clean it is. And that's a required statement.
I love it. And then
no falsifying.
That's crazy. And then I'll have to say this because thankfully, I mean, just so you know, you get to take some cans home because I know I confiscated this one.
I know.
This one's my favorite. But the tangerine. So where am I getting on my palate the sweetness from this tangerine? Because this tangerine, by the way, it's killer. Like it is because when I was a toddler, I lived in Florida, and as you know, tons of citrus trees, specifically tangerine. And when when you open up the tangerine and that peel and you see the oils come off, this is the cleanest tangerine RTD that I have tasted, and I've tasted a lot. And I'm sure you have too. Did you tap into this tangerine?
I did.
One?
I cracked it.
That one's good.
Again,
Yes, sir.
they're the full strength,
Mhm.
but they're both 5%.
Yeah.
They both come in at 5% alcohol. But the first iteration, what was
The original.
just the original?
Yeah.
Cleaner, just a little cleaner, a little brighter, a little cleaner, a
mhm.
little brighter, and I'm getting a little more of the bubbles.
With the
The
loomy.
yeah. Would you call it seltzer taste? It's dry. It's a little drier.
It's
for me.
definitely drier, and that's
It's
what
a
I
little-
like about it. So
Okay.
what's the calorie composition difference here? I know that the loomies are
96. The only calories are coming from the gin, so it's the equivalent of
Mhm.
taking a gin shot. So don't have to worry about that.
Oh.
I will say these are vivacious, and for those reasons, we don't need to know the calories because life is too short. So don't worry if you. I will say though, there is nothing fake in here. That the sweetness you're getting is from cane sugar,
I
so
love
it's
it.
real calories for real food. And what's nice is with you touched on the tangerine, opening it from the peel and seeing that spritz.
Mhm.
I am such a somatic person. These flavors come about with experiences and feelings. It's a little bit of escapism when you have Loncaro. You're
Yeah.
not just having a cocktail to get drunk. I mean, you're really opening an
Yes.
experience for yourself, a somatic feeling, maybe a memory. You feel it in certain places. There's a shape, there's a color. These flavors are very, very complex.
Yeah.
And they were made with so much love, but I always say they were made with like blood, sweat, tears, arguments, midnight emails.
Sounds
6
like
a.m.
family.
calls.
Yeah.
We all just had such a strong hand in it that we know they're the best they could possibly be because we nearly fist fought over a lot of things, but that's how you get the best product in the end is when everybody feels so strongly about it. And
Yeah,
so
that's family, and that's what. Hang on, I'm going to turn around so everybody can see because
Yeah.
this is the definition of family right here.
Where are we at here? Oh, there she is. Hang on. Boom, there she is.
I like it.
so that is
I on the
her
other hand,
tagline.
I am not Finnish. However, I do have some Swedish in me, so I'm neighbors to you all. I'm neighbors to you, Yanni. I'm a neighbor. I mean, I'm
Neighbors and rivals.
Oh yeah, both. It's all right. I'm such a European mutt. It's probably only a couple percentages, but anyways, I digress.
So Yanni, this is brewed up in California. Is that where our flavors and our fruits are coming from?
We have two co-packers, one out here out west and then one on the East Coast. And then we have a flavor house that we work with as well.
Okay. So a flavor house, that's where the secret sauce comes from.
That's the
That's
secret.
where our food science chemists are.
Ah.
They are not a joke. I won't name them because we don't want anybody to find them. But if I could name them by name, shout out, they know who they are.
Yeah.
We go to them with what we want and just the amount of connection of working with them through the years is we almost share a brain by now. And when I go there and we do our tastings and we're really working on our narrations and it's almost like you're summoning the same energies within each other and you're asking for certain things, not in a flavor composition, but you're almost saying how you want to experience it and they're reading it and you're taking all this information and turning it into a can and into something you can drink. What you're consuming when you taste these, yes, are fruit and flavors, but truthfully, huge discussions about the word experience keeps coming to mind. It's definitely an experience when you have Loncaro.
It is. I'll say this because, like I said before, referencing other competitors out there, this was so clean, and I just immediately I'm like, I need to know why grapefruit. And Yanni, you weren't tapped in yet, but Sarah went into detail on the 1952 Olympics that were in Finland because I'm like, last time I checked, I mean, I've got a garden, but there isn't any grapefruit that grows there. So just her going into that story, after I had tasted these, because I'm like, this tastes so much different than other long drinks that I've had in the market. So it was really cool just to hear, that cultural history of this specific drink. And the fact that, so the long drink, so that is classified in Finland, like that's a
category.
That's a category. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's
it was,
Yeah.
for forever, there's only one company that was allowed to make it. And then it's probably only about 10 years ago, they opened up the market. So now there's various different brands in the market.
Wow.
Forever is only just one that everybody's drinking.
Yeah, what's pretty amazing is there's one brand that has completely dominated that whole category. So, you know, when I met the team, I just knew that they had something special and we could absolutely disrupt the market. But nobody was really tapping into like authenticity the way that we do.
And and the fact that you guys are supporting, you know, Next Step, I think that that's very cool. That's something that, you know, I'm a huge believer in when you're bringing a product to the market. You know, not only should the product be great, you know, easy to consume, easy to find, but it's that extra special. Like when I'm shopping and there's a product or a brand or a company that gives a percentage or gives back in some way to the community, the world, you know, whatever organization, I'm going to choose that one every single time. So I'm glad that we got to talk about the next steps. And Yanni, your story is very powerful, and the fact that you have that personal experience and you've woven it into this product and having it benefit a community that, you know, that now we're all a part of because we're all consuming it, we're drinking it. You know, you guys are creating these, so that's very that's an added bonus, and it's a humanitarian thing that I think is something that everybody just should take note of in the beverage industry.
I keep going back to the flavors, and the drink itself, and because we do a lot of bourbons and whiskeys, but we'll do vodkas and gins. But this with the finish, we always talk about the finish in the whiskeys, and the finish in this, it's very just tangerine. It's once the drink is gone, and it's not strong. It's not like a big puckering face or anything. But when the drink is gone, the finish on the tangerine is just very tangerine. It's very like I just ate one of those halos, and it's like
yummy. And here's the other thing too. So the nose on this, because a lot of RTDs, if you pour them over ice, you lose it. You don't smell anything. This has been sitting in ice for a little bit. Everyone, this is the tangerine one, which is my personal favorite.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
fight you for the next can.
Well, you know, it's fun. We really play with those acids. Mrs. Vino, I know you know this, but acids are essentially the salt of the cocktail. You know, salt with food really wakes it up. The acids are what you need, and we really play with those acids. It's a fun story. We kind of delayed our launch because we knew that clean finish is just so important. We weren't quite there yet. We had planned to launch. We thought, we're not like 140% happy with what we have. Let's keep working on it. So much work went into that finish because that cloying feeling when you're thirsty after a cocktail, nothing is worse. You know, when you have to like, chug water after an RTD. Not us.
And you hit the nail on the head with that word cloying, the cloyingly sweetness of certain RTDs that are out there. You're right. It's like sticky and you're like, oh, I feel like I need to cleanse my palate. These you don't.
All right. So Kathleen, which is your favorite flavor? So like, which is your favorite kid? But Kathleen, do you have a favorite flavor out of these iterations here?
So I love the tangerine for the original. I do love them all though. And it is like asking if you have a favorite child. And I'm gonna
tell you, I love the tangerine and the citrus.
When it comes to Lumi, I can't pick a favorite yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going through all of them, which by the way, this is my first time having the Lumi. And this tangerine is the dragon fruit killer, the white peach. You were right, Sarah, when we were talking earlier. I know here.
I'll just call the Ubers now.
Yeah, call the Uber now. Sorry, I took my charcoal pills. I'm all good. But that white peach, you know, it's really hard to replicate that flavor in any way, shape, or in any way possible. And that white peach is so fuzzy and you know, it's juicy and so please jump in. I know you want to.
You said the word. You can call out cloying that I said, but I'm going to call it the word you said, fuzzy. What a lot of people don't know is that peach skin is so important to what a peach is. So if you take away that sort of, the drink is not hairy for anybody listening, but it definitely is biting into a peach. If you think of like peach rings or any sort of peach flavored anything you get, it's so confectionery. And especially with the Lumi line, none of our drinks are confectionery, but with Lumi, the point was to be clean, unsweetened, fresh. We really tapped into it. And I keep boasting, but I truly think we've innovated in such a oversaturated market with fruits that are exactly as they should be, exactly what you're imagining when you have the physical fruit. It's not, peach with gin plus this plus that. It's genuinely a juicy peach that happens to have properties that are making you feel good. But it is really like our pineapple, so golden. It's a very golden pineapple. And that dragon fruit is not a real known flavor for people, but our dragon fruit is more of a, I would say, on the tartar side, but still fruity. So if you like margaritas, it's not similar to a lime, but if you like that sort of texture and taste, I think you would like dragon fruit. And Lumi, what's fun about it is it's a full body mouthfeel with the cleanest ingredients possible. So you really don't miss out on anything. You're really not missing anything when you drink Lumi, thinking, oh, it's unsweetened. It's not going to be hot like booze or strong like an old fashioned. It's genuinely just perfect. And I really challenge people to try it if they think they're not going to like an unsweetened cocktail, because I don't think you understand that all the cocktails on the market are maybe a little bit too sweet. And so when you try ours, you're like, whoa. Even with our original line, even though they're sweetened, you try them, and like you said, it's so clean on the end that you're like, whoa.
It's fresh. That if I were to, I would say fresh and clean is what how I would describe these. These I would say fresh and dry.
Very. And those
but these are just fresh and clean. Just gorgeous.
They're both. Both of these lines are incredible, and I think you hit the nail on the head, Sarah, when when you're talking about other RTDs that are in the market and individuals, and educating the general public about not sweetened or unsweetened or no sugar added, and just knowing that these Lumis, these specific 96 calorie ones, don't have any sugar or sweetener, and they're unsweet. I mean, that's incredible, because the fruit flavors on these are so intense. I know that you guys are I know why you're keeping things secret, because I can tell. I kind of know what you're doing, but I won't say anything, because I don't want to.
Secret safe.
Secret is so safe here.
And it's not as quick as you might think. It's not, you pull a pineapple flavor and you throw it in a can. I mean, these are very built in. They're very layered. They're layered to hit certain points in your mouth at certain times. They're meant to have certain effects on your mouth. They are, shout out to Cal Poly Pomona, my background. We do a very good job at incorporating science with alcohol. We have a great hospitality management program with a beer, wine, and spirits focus. And we get deep into these things. And so when we found our absolute best flavor house, you put just these two, entities together, which is us at Loncaro and our flavor house. And you just get the best of both worlds, because going into the can is more than most people know. It is genuinely a giant science program or science project that turns into a really good cocktail.
You're an alchemist. You're an alcoholic alchemist.
I thought you were going to say alcoholic. I was like,
no, an alcohol alchemist. You're an alk.
No, it's great. I always joke, like Loncaro, I don't know if you guys know this, it's only 4 people. So I always joke we kind of made a company, and now we're just supporting our own drinking habits, because we were tired of all the RTDs on the market. And luckily we have the power to make our own RTDs. So especially with Lumi, and it being so new, it's just fun to say, we're tired of all this crap. why don't we just make something good that we want to drink? And
Yes.
we're pretty picky. So if we all drink it, we know the market will drink it. So it's
Yeah. Yeah, no, and you can tell, like I said before, the quality is there, and I'm sure your secret team, your scientists, your ingredients, where you're procuring your produce and your fruit from, you can tell because there's a lot of RTDs on the market where they just come up with something and then they put it out there. So there's no intention. You guys have intention, not just with the formulation of the beverage, but you also have that intention of helping individuals who have suffered from paralysis. So having both of those is why you have success, why there's going to be more growth, because you have intention behind your product and you also have a cause behind your product, and you have a leader, your founder Yanni, who is all encompassing of all of that. So that's really cool, you guys. Very cool.
Yeah, let's talk about government and politics for a little bit.
Oh,
no, I am.
Hang on, let him lead in.
I am serious. Because with a lot of the whiskey makers and the spirit makers we talk to, they face a lot of challenges with getting their product to market because of the government regulations, even down to the labels and what can be on the labels. And so with these, complex or these interesting fruits and interesting flavors you're bringing in, are you facing any governmental challenges bringing anything to market? What are you facing as far as that goes?
A whole lot of paperwork.
It's awful. Isn't it awful?
Yeah. When we launched, our initial strategy was to import the recipe, the mix from Finland. But because of those regulations, we could not do that because the ingredients were not approved in the U.S.
Whoa.
So that then which turned out being a good thing because that led us to developing a brand new recipe, which turned out to be, the best recipe we think we could have ever created. So it worked out, but it delayed us probably like 6 months or so.
That's not too bad in the grand scheme of things, Yanni. No. And here's the thing. It gave you guys an opportunity to do something proprietary that is only for Loncaro. Which
Absolutely.
is so it happened for a reason, right?
Yes,
it was a good problem to have, because now it's a problem that is proprietary and now you own it.
Yeah, and we also hadn't met Sarah yet when we had that plan. So we didn't realize how great she was at creating these recipes. So it all kind of came together accidentally.
It's a very funny thing. When I said it's a long story, we delayed a bit. Actually, what it is we got in 5,000 cases. We could not wait to jump into the market and sell these. Yanni has a fun photo of me like holding our first case as we're unloading it into our storage unit. Hermosa summer, it's so hot, we're sweating. It's our own little old unit that we're unloading by hand. We grab these cans. We're so stoked. We're working out of a WeWork at the time. It's called Unita out here. Just love it. Now we have our own office, but this was back when we were in Unita, and we're like, yeah, guys, we're about to sell this. And we crack it and we're tasting it. And we're like, oh. Cause it was, if we're not cloying, the other end of the spectrum. So it was no. And it wasn't good is what the word would be. And so what was really fun is being able to tell Yanni, I got this. This is literally what my whole life has led to. Let's reformulate these. And it was just citrus at the time. And we worked on those. And that's how we came up with our original. And then saw such success that we're like, let's get crazy, and came up with our next two. And then we thought, let's get so crazy because we're really tired of drinking sugar, and came up with our next three, which has been fun. So who knows? Well, I guess we know. I was going to say what you can do when you put your mind to it, but we know this year.
Well, let's talk about availability and packaging. Where and then because I love the tangerine. Can I get a 6-pack of tangerine, or do I got to buy the variety pack?
This is how we acquired number one salesperson ever, Kathleen Berkey. This is
Hey,
her
all
domain,
right.
so I'm going to shoot you over to Kathleen to say. But let me say, we have some really cool updates coming into the market that Kathleen will help you learn about.
Kathleen, talk to me. Where can I get my mitts on
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
So we are in Ohio, Michigan, Kentucky, and California. We just recently launched in Kroger, which is super exciting.
Yeah.
So you guys can find us in Kroger. Yep. So yeah, we're really growing very, very fast.
That's awesome. Is there
Okay.
do you guys
And we
have
also-
like a locator on your website?
Yes, we
at
do on
all?
our website, Store Mapper.
Yeah.
And we do have to shout out one person by name, Dennis Sullivan of Gelson's here in California. He took us on into Gelson's Markets. It's a grocery chain out here, a premium grocery chain. 1 week into launching, we had no sales. We had no history with him. He tasted our product and he said, "Yup." And there we were, and that started the whole Gelson's chain. And that Gelson's win helped us with our Kroger pitch, which Kathleen put us in front of Kroger very sneakily at a Cincinnati Wine Fest. And little did we know, as we were, talking with people and selling to people, that we were, unbeknownst to us, cold pitching to Kroger, who then took us on into district after district after district. So it's been a really insane snowball.
Kroger, it's I love the small and independent party stores. In Michigan, we call them party store convenience stores. But the convenience of the big stores and having them have the big products, and then for someone making it for you guys to get it in there. Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
It's really gonna set things spinning. So are you gonna be able to keep up with all the summer shenanigans?
We hope
Oh,
not,
we're all
but
excited.
we know that we can. We're anticipating, blowing through some cases. So
Hey, so just out of curiosity, Kathleen, who so like for the small mom and pops, because I know like you shop at Keiko's, I go to Quintoro's and Westbourne Market. So, for those buyers out there, which distribution company can they call up in Michigan and say, "Hey, I want some of this Loncaro"?
Great Lakes Wine and Spirits.
All right, that's what I wanted. All right, shout out to my buddies at Great Lakes Wine and Spirits. So all the mom and pop shops out there, get your mitts on this Loncaro, and if you haven't tried it, request a sample.
This will do well in Birmingham. It will. It will do well up and down the St. Clair Shores nautical mile.
Oh, big time.
This will do well.
This is a boat drink. This is going to replace what's in the market that people are aware of, because this is a lot cleaner. It tastes. I mean, there's no comparison. There really
we'll
isn't.
never use anything artificial ever as a brand. We are all very passionate about that. I really challenge people to examine their go-to cocktail or what they think they like. Examine the can, examine the packaging, really read that composition statement. Really look at what brands are hiding behind marketing words. Again, with the whole zero sugar, but is there zero sweetener? Or the whole no sugar added. We just challenge people, really look at what you're drinking, and I think they'll start to see it's important to have something that's actually clean, actually natural. And like I said, from 4 people. So you're not benefiting this giant conglomerate, who already is outsourcing their flavors and outsourcing their things. We're doing everything in-house by hand between the 4 of us, and it's cool.
Wow, that's impressive.
With all these natural, go ahead.
I'll say the other, I think, interesting thing about Loncaro and just the long drink category in itself, compared to other RTDs, is that a bartender can't just make it. Like any bartender can make a margarita, can make a vodka soda, can make a rum and coke, et cetera, et cetera. A bartender can't just make a long drink.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot more that goes into it than just pouring vodka into a glass and then pouring some soda water and whatever over it. It's a much more complex of a cocktail that you can't just make. That takes, as Sarah's alluded to, takes lots of time and effort to actually create it the right way.
Yeah, I'll definitely attest to that, Yanni. Because I'll buy like a diet grapefruit soda, and then I've got some really good gin at home. However, that is the cheap and dirty way. If you want something that is natural and super clean finish, don't go with the diet grapefruit soda. Just go and pick up some Loncaro because I've done that too. I've made my quote own long drink at home, and you're correct, Yanni. No, you can't make that because there's complexity and there's layers of flavors in here. And like I said, I can't get away from the fact that these have a nose on them. Me being a sommelier, that's the first thing. You look at the wine, you smell the wine, you taste the wine. This, you look at the packaging, it's beautiful. You pour it in. The nose on all of these, it's incredible. And even over ice, because usually when you pour something over ice, specifically in RTD, it's lost. It is lost like immediately or within a couple minutes. These, it still has a nose on it. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've never had a tangerine, a cocktail, because I'm a girl drink drunk. Put an umbrella in it, I'm pretty happy. I like people make fun of, but I this tangerine, I've never had a cocktail that's and I like this tangerine flavor. It's straight up, just it's there. It's very nice. All right, so I don't know. I'm not sure who wants to field this hard question. It might be Kathleen. So coming in on the shelf with all these natural ingredients and all these special secret sauces, what are we paying for this?
So $12.99 for a 6-pack.
Oh, all right.
That's easy.
It's surprising, right? We drink like a super premium cocktail.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And it looks like it. So you'll see the natural cloud. Sorry, we got a lot of sun going on in Hermosa Beach, but this is a natural cloud. Very, very traditional to the original long drink in Finland. And that natural cloud poured over ice, poured in a wine glass. It's stunning. It really is. So even high-end restaurants will pour us in a glass over ice versus over can is almost a different experience. And we like to drink here at Loncaro. So we make something called the Loncarita, truly the easiest cocktail you've ever had. Ooh. You pour Loncaro over ice, a shot of tequila with a fresh squeeze of lime. That's it. And think of it as a base. So you'll have like
we have all those things in the studio.
That Loncarita, if you love the tangerine, try it with a shot of tequila and a fresh squeeze of lime, tahine rim. All of the flavors, truthfully. We have so many craft cocktails made with Loncaro that it's almost scary, where I always joke, like, people are like, what do you guys do with your time? I'm like, we make cocktails with our cocktails.
Yes.
But it's our office has a 10-foot bar. Yanni's there now. We have big trees on our ceiling with lily of the valley flowers hung by hand. There was a crazy summer when we did the office. A lot of decor by hand. It's been a fun time.
Oh, that's
but you should try a Loncarita whenever you guys are ready for a margarita on the boat, on the porch, drinking, for a tailgate. It's an easy cocktail.
In the studio.
It might happen in just a matter of moments.
Yeah, with our variety packs, we always really want to go with something that these experiencers are like juicy, they're vivacious, they're almost vacation like. This passion fruit. I'm sure you guys have tried. Mrs. Vino, you talked about the smell sticking around. We specifically top note these on purpose because we know how important it is to crack it, grab a great top note. We also know how important those base notes are, and we really, really weave them in together to keep them around, to make some, more vivacious than others. So as you're drinking it, you're really genuinely, I almost want to say like in love with what you're drinking versus just downing a cocktail.
Yeah. No, these are great. These are great. And I'm so glad that we're able to, find these in Kroger and, $12.99 for a 6-pack. That's killer.
Yeah. I'm an Irish boy, and I usually try to, I'll get like, your Strongbow and the Magners and the Guinness and the things that are coming from the island, and it's and then that's the ballpark, and it's I'll pay for that when it's something I like. I'll pay for it, and but it's not that much more than the crafts and the other things out there. Right on par with that for sure.
Yeah, these are definitely. I'm glad that we got you on before
Yeah.
4th of July, because anybody who's looking for something to bring to 4th
Grab
of July
'em and
parties,
take 'em on the boat.
yeah, get these Loncaros, take them to party.
Yeah. And
the
think of
boat.
us, because that's our 3rd anniversary. We actually launched on July 4th. So
Oh my gosh.
think of us. Drink. Actually, our
Yeah.
first 4th of July was Yana and I on the Strand with our CFO David, and we had the longest day probably possible. We started about 7 a.m. on the sand at Hermosa Beach at Ironman. It's a big run, paddle, chug, 6 cans, try not to puke. Whoever does it fastest wins. But it's about 20,000 people. So we started there with giving out all of our cocktails for our launch. We ended late at night. The 3 of us took a nap in the office because it took that was such a crazy day. And then went back out to get everybody drunk. And I love that day, but I think it was probably the worst day in the history of our company. Think of us on 4th of July. Kathleen was so lucky to have not been with us quite yet then, because I think it was just bad, Kathleen. It was bad. But luckily,
hey, it sounds like a party. It sounds like a good time.
No, it was a bad time. It was a good time, but it was a bad time. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. But it was a good time.
All right, so we got nextstepfitness.org. If people want to, and we'll put links in the show notes for everybody. So nextstepfitness.org, and then Loncaro.com, simply Loncaro.com, and get all the information there. What will people find, like the cocktail recipes there and things?
Can I do 2 more plugs?
Yes. Plug away.
Yeah, so Loncaro Long Drink is our new Instagram. And then also for Next Step, every year we do 2 charity bike rides. So we actually did one around Lake Michigan last September. We just did San Diego to Manhattan Beach, and then we are riding from Cleveland to Cincinnati this coming October.
And how many miles is that, Yanni?
That one is going to be like 330.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, that's a little more than I can stand. I mean, I can lift really heavy weights because that's how I train, but I am not endurance. I will support you. I will support you in other areas.
It's flat and paved.
It's a flat ride, and 90% of it is on paved bike trails.
Yeah.
All right. Unless 90% of it is downhill.
We'll get you an e-bike.
There you go. There you go.
You get to cheat a little bit. You know what? No. We'll get one of those tandem bikes, or I can put you.
I'm gonna need a 3-wheeler.
The funny thing you said that is Joel, who's my right-hand man at Next Step, and my other friend Lars, who is a huge supporter of our ride. They're actually riding a tandem bike together.
Nice.
Oh yeah, so we won't be alone, Jamie.
What could go wrong?
Like 500 pounds on a tandem bike.
I might need like a bike taxi where we're sitting in the back covered up and somebody up front pedaling.
Yeah, I knew it.
I
knew you were gonna say that. As long as you can pass me some cold drinks while I'm pedaling.
Oh, there's a lot of drinks on the ride. There's a lot of drinks.
You're not gonna come up with an excuse if I'm on the phone here.
Very glad. Oh my God. Well, thank you guys for spending some time with us and talking us through these. As we drank our way through these, I think we did some damage here, Kristen.
Yeah, we did. I know we did.
All right. But thank you. And
thank you so much.
Yeah, good luck with that. And as more magic happens, you got to come back and share these stories as they keep unfolding.
Kroger just started. So this is probably the start of the magic here. So thanks for having us on. And if it's okay, can Kathleen plug our new Kroger markets?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Kathleen,
so you can find us. You can find us in Michigan, and you can find us in Cincinnati right now.
Okay.
Awesome.
So we're working our way through.
Awesome.
Every city, every state.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yep, you got it. So there you go, Man Cave Happy Hour. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, do all those podcast things and all the podcast places, and we'll do it all again very, very soon.
Yes. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.